Come here. Get off.
Welcome to this week's Quickie. So, we are going to do a little story time with E and K.
It's like alcohol.
Yeah. E and K. Eric and Killer.
I like
that does sound like a good drink. Any mixologists, y'all want to put together a drink for
Special
us?
drink for us? Yes.
Special drink? We like it. Okay, so story time. We are going to talk about our first time at a sex club.
Yeah.
Da-da-da. Okay, who wants
You
to go first?
You go first. Although your story, I'm sure, is going to be way better than mine.
Well, I mean, so my first time at a sex club, I was dating this guy, and we decided to go to there are a few in this area, but the one we went to is pretty much the oldie in the area. I'm trying to tell it without like too many details. So, yeah. But anyway, so he came to town. We decided to link up he came to the DC area. So we decided to link up at a hotel that was kind of near the club, because the club itself isn't in DC. There are a few in DC, but this one isn't in DC. So we decided to link up at a hotel that's near there, just because we knew we'd be drinking and that kind of thing. And we wanted to be able to enjoy ourselves. So we this particular club is BYOB, so of course stopped, picked up some drinks. We went to dinner ahead of time, and my stomach is real sensitive, so I can't eat everything and that kind of thing, especially if I know it's gonna be a wild night, because I ain't trying to be like fucking thinking about bubble guts. So boom, this what had happened. Took an Uber over to the club, and it's clearly like a sex club. Everybody knows it's a sex club. Getting an Uber is like no, that was on the way back. Getting an Uber, no problem on the way there. Get there, you walk in, and you you do your membership stuff, get in, and then because it was our first time, they're like, hey, do you want a tour? So we're like, cool. So we get a tour by like the sweetest black couple. They're like older, but not like old. It really reminded me of like a black dentist and an assistant principal at a high school. Like it was like definitely it was definitely one of those like, y'all like normal as hell. I mean, I know everyone's normal, but you're just like, whoa, this
it wasn't
is
what you were expecting.
Yeah. So we go and put our drinks at the bar. And they have this whole system, whatever. Go to the dance floor. Dance floor, it's like a club. It's literally like a club. It was very mixed, probably like 60-40 black people, 40% like whites, others. And it's like a club, but instead of showing videos, like they had a DJ, but instead of showing videos, they had like porn on the screens, that kind of thing. And then they take us downstairs so you exited the club part, go downstairs into where they have all the rooms. So they have a bunch of different rooms, and you have to sign up for the rooms in order to be able to access them. So each room has a thing. One room had like this like platform bed, which I was like, this is interesting, although I would probably fuck myself off the bed and hurt myself. They had one with like a pole, and one with like the cross, like the BDSM X thing where you can chain and whip and that kind of thing. And those rooms are private rooms, so you book them and you can invite people in with them, but like that's your room for a particular period of time.
Gotcha.
But
can people see into them?
some of the rooms had windows and you can open them or close them. Some of them didn't. And they had one like voyeur room where there were no curtains that you just had to look into. And then they had this one room all the way in the back, and the back room was like this big like space for everybody to be fucking. Like everybody to be fucking. And they had bunches of sheets and lockers and that kind of thing. And they had like a little bathroom where you can wash up and take a shower and that kind of thing. I ain't taking no shower there, but you get what I'm saying. And that room was open. You can go there anytime and do your thing. So we got the tour. It was really nice. It's very much like a cheer. It was very much like a Cheers kind of feel. Like they're like, yeah, Roberta like making crab dip. So we got some crab dip over there, even though I could not imagine like eating crab dip and then fucking my life away. Fuck no. It's like a potluck. Ugh. But anyway, but people was fucking it up. So me and my partner, we go upstairs and we, start drinking, dancing, having a good time. And then at a particular time, like the lights like go down even more and niggas get like frisky. So in the club area, they have a dance floor. They have like a pole and a cage, and then they have like seats and stuff. So it's like, VIP seats or whatever, but it's not really VIP. Like people just sit on this. And then they have like sheets that you can put on the couches and things. Oh, good. So we're like, just kind of minding our business on the side of the dance floor, dancing and, drinking and stuff. Of course, I'm drunk. And the more I drink, the more I, So then I pull a titty. So people are dancing, women pulling titties out, somebody finger fucking somebody on the stage. I mean, it became like at a particular point, the lights went down and like shit just started popping off. Hey. Yeah. So we're dancing, pull out a titty. He starts fingering me. So then we go over on the couch and I start giving him head on the couch. Like, it was literally just like, hey, sit here. Slob, slob, slob. So then he's like, hey, let's go downstairs. So we go downstairs. The line for all the rooms are packed. So anyway, while we're upstairs, we like, the chicks kind of start dancing with each other. So some chicks start dancing. I start dancing with some chicks. And then this couple was like, hey, want to go downstairs with us? We're like, yeah. I mean, they weren't really playing fuck with them. I mean, fuck them. But, it's like there's all this sexual energy. So we all go downstairs. And by then, downstairs is packed. So people have their names on a list for the rooms. So some of the rooms are opening up. Different people are going off in different rooms. I think we got invited into a room, but the guy was like, kind of looking. So I was like, we'll just take our chances in the bigger back room. So we ended up in the bigger back room, and you're in the room, and like in the bigger back room, it's like you either need to be sucking, fucking, licking, or sticking. Like you're not allowed to just stand around and look. Because I mean, it's like, it's not a voyeur room. Like you're supposed to be at action. Yeah. So we get in there and we just go at it. So there's like beds and bowls of condoms, and we, so we start doing it. I hate the term doing it. We start having sex on the bed, and then some other couple comes next to us on the bed and they start having sex. So it was really, it was very, like, there was lots of sexual energy, and we got to have our voyeuristic time without, like, having to fuck somebody else. The chick started like rubbing my titty. So, I mean, there was, it's as comfortable as you feel. It's not like, ain't nobody gonna walk up and stick the dick in your face, but it's kind of like let's see where this goes. No means no. There's like a million signs up there that says no means no. But it was really cool because everybody had this really great sexual energy, and everyone was open, and just kind of things were happening and touching and that kind of thing. And we were able to just, be nasty with each other. And we got to live our, fantasies of doing it in a room with lots of people watching. Looking back on it, wasn't nobody watching us because everybody was busy doing their own thing. But, in your mind, you're just like, ooh, we're all, doing that. But so we had a really great time. But even better than that, like on the way home, oh my God, I know this nigga has like a 3-star Uber rating because we damn near fucked in the car on the way home. Because, like we had sex, but I don't think he finished. Of course I finished because why not? But, it just kind of got us ready for even more that night. And I think I did anal that night too. Because we, we were there, and then we were home, and the whole way home we like kissing, and I think it was like somebody auntie driving us. I'm sorry, lady. I apologize, because this man had his whole hand up my pussy the entire ride home.
Oh shit.
Pre-COVID. But anyway, so it was just like we got to like live in a fantasy for a night, and then we damn near fucked on the way home. I don't think I did, but I damn near did on the way home. I'm convinced the man was fisting me on the way home. And then I got to the hotel and like did it all night until the wee hours of the morning.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at you.
Because going there was like it was like great foreplay. Mm-hmm. Like we both got to like, flirt and be sexual and sensual in this room with all these people and all this like great sexual energy. And the people that were there was some, like there were mixed couples and black people and white people, but it definitely, you felt like you were around your people. Mm. So it wasn't like it was some creepy white man in the corner like la, 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 la. Right. But yeah, so we had a good, nasty time. And we've been back a few times since then. Mm. And it always, I don't think I've had a bad time. It's always a nice time to like, just go. And most of the time, well, all the time, I won't say most of the time, all the time we're there, we'll like talk to couples and that kind of thing. Mm. But it's not like we're having sex with other couples, but it's just nice to have that,
in that space,
energy in that space, and then you just go home and get nasty.
Dope.
So, bam, boom. That's my story time. What about you?
Girl. All right. So my situation is very different. So my partner at the time and I were traveling. We were on vacation. We were in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And someone told us about a club because it wasn't like something that we had on our itinerary. But somebody told us about it and I was like, okay, fuck it. Let's see if we can do it because we had talked about going to a club. I know you had advised that we go to the place where you've gone and we hadn't had a chance to go. And we were like, yo, we're in a city that's not our own, right? We ain't know nobody. Yeah. Let's try it out. So you had to like do a membership and all of this stuff. So I like sent an email and got on the list. And I think they ended up comping us the admission, which is really nice. Mm-hmm. It was not a BYOB. They had a full bar, which was dope. Okay. Yeah. Although I don't think we ended up drinking. So anyway, get in the lift and get there. And it's super nondescript from the outside. You would not at all know what was
going on in those four walls.
Yeah. So we get inside and I'm like, this from the outside, it was nondescript, but also kind of grand. You know what I mean? Like some columns and shit. And we get inside.
They're all like that.
Oh, okay. And it's like Christmas lights and like, yeah. Okay.
It's like somebody's basement. It's like like somebody's like den. Like,
yes. And they like sit at one of them Lifetime tables, like, the white tables.
Yeah.
Taking money and checking your membership and whatnot. And so then somebody takes us on the tour. It's this black chick who was super sweet. And there, the main floor was the club, just like the place where y'all went. But it's like all these couches and it was fucking freezing. It's cold as hell because the door's opening and closing. They got like a sheet up or a curtain, but it's still cold as hell. But so
no one wants to get naked when it's cold.
Yeah, but so that's like where all the couches are. Mm-hmm. So she walks us past the couches. Back past that is the bar, and then there's a dance floor, and then there's the bathroom. I think there's a shower back there as well. But so she takes us upstairs so that we can see all the rooms, and they have like what they call, I think it's like the library or something. So it's like like it looks like an old school, like something you would see in a movie with like books lining all the shelves,
leather bound books.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then there's these huge like overstuffed brown leather couches. And no, it's early because we were told we should get there a little bit on the early side to like stake out our spot. So there's nobody in that room at that point. So we were like, okay, this is cool. There's like some couches in the hall, a couple of little hideaway spots, and then there's a room where you can either have, it's got like a big bed that takes up the whole room, like a circle black bed. And then you can, if you have sex in there, you can either have the curtains all the way open, or you can have like blackout, or you can have like a gauzy curtain if you want people to kind of see. And then if you walk through the library, there's like a theater with like theater seats and porn playing on the TV. So you can sit down in like theater style seating and watch the movie, which, well, I'll tell you later. And then
Who watches a movie?
It's porn on the screen.
I mean, but who watches porn like that? And then the seats aren't like conducive for like doing anything, right? Because they're theater seats.
Yeah, and also well, anyway, we'll talk about it.
Okay, sorry, continue.
Yeah, so then there's a couple of like, rooms where you can just straight up see where there's nothing, like you were saying, like voyeur rooms. And there's a group sex room, and then there's lockers, and there's a couple of showers, and they going over the rules. Women are not supposed to walk around by themselves. You're always supposed to have somebody with you at all times.
So you know what? That is something that I'll put a pin in and we'll talk about it.
Okay. So yeah, I thought that was interesting, especially if you were there as two women.
That's what I was going to touch on.
Yeah, like I felt like it was very much geared toward heterosexual couples.
Yes.
But there were a couple of lesbian couples there later on in the night. But yeah, it was very much geared toward, even just in the language that they were using and giving the rules, it was a very heterosexual space. And then, so we did the tour and we went back downstairs and a few more people had come, but it was still kind of empty and started filling up. The music was shit. DJ wasn't hitting on nothing. And it quickly became clear that it was mostly white people and like middle-aged and older. And the person who recommended it was black. And I specifically asked.
And young and lesbian, right?
Yeah, she's a young black lesbian.
Yeah.
And I specifically asked her if they were going to be, but she hadn't been in a while because she had moved to another town. And so I'm thinking things just kind of shifted. But I was like, are there going to be black people? And she was like, there's going to be tons of beautiful black bodies. And I was like, yes. But that was not the case. It was a whole bunch of old motherfuckers. There was this one black couple, but they were definitely closer to my dad's age. And they kept looking at us and we were like, nah, son, nah. Like, we were cute. Like I had on my Fashion Nova finest, like slit down to the belly button, titties, threatening to jump at any given moment, slits all the way up to my hips, like cute. But we just kind of felt like these aren't our people, and there was no one who we wanted to even watch have sex, let alone have sex next to.
Yeah.
But we stayed for a while. Like we're out. Maybe the music will get better. I think maybe he did have one drink. I didn't drink anything. And it just never really got better. But then we were like, okay, let's go upstairs. Maybe we'll get in the mood. Maybe somebody came in and we didn't see, or the voyeurism, whatever. So we go upstairs and we're in the little library area, and we look inside the movie, but the porn theater part, and it's just like, I love that you said at your place they had like clean sheets that you could put over things. I was just so icked out at the idea of like bare asses on these leather seats. Like there was nothing that made me want to sit my body on anything. And so then we're just kind of leaned up against, he has me like posted up against the wall. We're making out a little bit, but like, I don't want to sit down because
you can't get out of yourself in order to enjoy it.
I was so grossed out. And then we see this like white couple, and I guess he's supposed to be hitting it from behind, but it's a very jackhammer situation. So now we're like laughing internally and trying not to be assholes. And then this elderly couple, this white man goes down on this woman. And yes, elderly people need to have sex. That's not the thing. She squirts all over the fucking couch. And then he gets up and goes and gets up.
However,
but why didn't y'all put down a motherfucking towel? So then he's like, I gotta go get a towel. She made a mess. And I'm like, this is why I'm not. Because I know that that's happening all the time, and I ain't seen nobody come clean nothing yet. And so I was disgusted. Yeah, so we just kind of, made out a little bit up against a wall, and we walked around a bit. Hardly anybody was really doing. We stayed for a couple of hours. Like, we gave it some time to see if the crowd would switch over, or at least if the music would get a little better, so at least we would want to dance. And it just never really curled over. So
Yeah.
we called a lift and went home and had sex there, and it was fantastic.
We that reminds me of the time we went out in Miami, and we went to a club, and the club itself was really nice, but because there weren't enough black people to make me feel comfortable doing it,
Right, because you don't want to be the
Yeah, and I
the black
already got a big
buck
ass,
and
so
on fucking display
and
in a
he's
hot
a
and
big
tot.
dude, exactly. And so it's always, I think we were, because again, the club itself was like really nice, much better than the club that we went to. I mean, the club that we went to could be described as like your uncle's den, but again, sheets.
Yeah, they did a
always,
good job of keeping it
somebody
clean
coming through with some gloves.
Yeah, see, I ain't seen nobody do none of that.
Oh, like between the rooms, they swap it out, they clean everything. But yeah, so but part of the reason why I couldn't enjoy myself when we were in Miami, one, the DJ was like playing Flow Rider the whole night. You know what that means. It's like, just enough black music. And there weren't enough black people, And also we're in Miami, so like all the women were like
that cookie cutter fake ass. I mean, sorry if y'all from
fake
Miami,
titties.
but you know exactly what we're talking about. Those ain't the niggas that's from Miami. That's on Miami Beach.
Exactly. So it was but like that was on there like in the 80s. But yeah, so it's definitely, for me, I found it was definitely a matter of like, I need to feel like I want to see bodies like my own, and so yeah.
I mean, literally, I think at one point, like, he was like, "Is there anybody in here?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "Well, what would you want them to look like?" And I was like me.
Yeah, I like people that look like me, that look like the people that I know. But I wanted to kind of touch on that because I mean, I guess there are like gay sex clubs and that kind of thing. But yeah, the clubs that I've been to have been very hetero clubs, like very much geared towards male and female relationships.
Like, they won't even let men come to some of these unless you have. I know the one we went to, men weren't allowed unless they were with women.
Yeah, sometimes they can, like, you got to come on a particular night, or you can come. You had to have been there a few times before. Or geared towards women that are looking for a third male, but it's, I couldn't see it being, friendly towards gay couples or lesbian couples or anything like that. So, yeah, but
it's a need in the market.
There's probably a need filled that we just don't know about.
Yeah. Good. I hope so. Cause I mean, hell, if folks can have good experiences like you did, then they shouldn't be robbed of that.
Yeah, it was definitely a good experience. And I would definitely go back again.
Yeah, I want to go. Obviously not to that place. But I did sign up at the place where y'all went. But just never made it out.
Yeah.
But one day.
Yeah, one day when this is over. Well, I don't know.
I know. So, and that's actually something I was thinking about, because this changes things, right? Like, just like how, there have been events that have changed the way we do things. Like, obviously these are very different things, but like to a who? Yeah,
packed bar. Like, I know.
Yeah,
because even if we get a vaccine for this, there'll be something else, and so it makes me that much more aware of how germs are spread. This is me saying I fucked a man in a room full of other people, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it just makes you that much more aware of it, and so you're just like, maybe I'll do like a nice private party,
right? But then how do you still like
Either
you're
you're
still putting
fucking with a
yourself
room
at the
full of friends, or
same-
you're fucking like
right, and don't want to do
with
that.
some people you don't know. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm not interested. So, yeah, I don't know. It really does change the way a lot of things work. Sex among them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, yeah, maybe you, we were talking, we did an episode about tropes at some point, and we talked about how, we want to make safer sex a thing. Like, maybe that also means that you taking niggas' temperatures at the door. We can't have a one night stand unless I take your temperature. Come here.
Exactly. Do a
Something.
nasal swab.
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, something. Because, listen.
Yeah. Well,
Nobody trying to
alrighty
get sick.
then.
Yeah.
This is Erica and Kenrya.
This is story time.
Story time with Erica and Kenrya. Two hoes making it clap. This episode was produced by us, Erica and Kenrya, and edited by Ballistic. The theme song is from Brazy. We want to hear from y'all. Send your book recommendations and all the burning sex and related questions you want us to answer to theturnonpodcast@gmail.com. And please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. Follow us on Twitter @theturnonpod and Instagram @theturnonpodcast, and find links to our books, transcripts, guest info, and other fun stuff at theturnonpodcast.com. And remember, The Turn On is now a part of the Frolic Podcast Network. You can find more shows you'll love at frolic.media/podcast. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Holla!